Yeah, what I wanted to talk about was OCDs, because it's something that I used to suffer really badly with, and thought it was about time I shared, really. Not something I talk about a lot, but it did have a bit of an effect on my life for a while, and it might help someone, so that's the whole point of the vlog. Going back, probably before I had kids was when it was the worst, and I put that down to now that I didn't have much else to think about. You know, I've got 4 kids now, wife, dog, bit of a high pressure job, so I sort of, it's very hard to have time to think, let alone worry about too much, if you see what I mean. But going back a while, it would just be crazy. Particularly at night time and before bed, that was when I was at my worst. I'd have to flick the light switches on and off loads of times before I went to bed, check the back door, check the front door, turn all the sockets off downstairs, and it was nothing to do with me thinking the house would catch fire or anything like that. It was to do with an obsession, really, and having to do that. And it's hard to explain, hard to. I always think it's a bit like, people say, can't understand why you smoke and stuff like that, and that's hard to explain. Why do you smoke? Very much in the way that, why would you do things like that? All I can explain to you what used to be in my head. Probably best if I start with a typical, what used to happen. It's going to go back about 7 years now, I guess, and what I used to do before I went to bed. And that would start with me going, get ready to go to bed, turn the telly off. Then I would go to the back door to check it was locked, go to the kitchen, turn the sockets off and check the window, and then I would go back into the lounge and just turn the light switch off, turn it on and off a few times, and I'd go back into the kitchen, check all the sockets, check the window again, and then I'd turn the light on and off a few times there. And that would continue for a while, me between checking different doors and lights and stuff like that, until I finally was happy that everything was off. Then I'd go downstairs and I'd check all the rooms for nothing. I wouldn't even barely look in them. I would just open the door, and that was it, really. Close the door again, turn the light on and off, open the door, turn the light on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, and close the door again. And that would continue for a few minutes as well, loads of time, but it would take a while. Then I'd finally get into bed, and I'd have to take my socks off and roll them up in a ball. Nothing else, just me. That would all it would be. The obsession of, I wouldn't do anything with, folding my clothes up or anything like that. They'd just get thrown on the floor. But had to roll my socks up together. Then I'd get into bed, and I'd have to, before I could even think about closing my eyes to go to sleep or anything like that, I would have to say every person in my family's name in my head. And I'd lose count, and I'd do it 3 or 4 times until I was sure that I'd got everyone in one go. No repeats, nothing like that. And it was pretty horrible, to be honest. And my thinking behind it all, there's no thinking there, but the obsession, if you like, was that if I didn't do it, if I didn't follow that routine, then someone in my family would die. And when I used to say everyone in my family's name, that was like everyone, aunties, uncles, all my sort of close family, if you like, grands, granddads and stuff like that. And when it finally went away, the obsession, really, or I still do little bits now, but hardly anything, to be honest. But when it finally sort of departed from me, if you like, was when my grandparents died. I sort of come to the conclusion that never stop them dying, so I won't do that. I won't say everyone's names before I go to bed, because it's not going to make a difference. And then the kids came along, and you know, if you've got kids, you'll know that your main concern is them, and you don't. And as you know, as we have more kids and stuff like that, I stopped thinking so much about. You know, it was more about, you know, real life instead of pretend life. And so what I put it down to is almost like a superstition, which was concealed by an obsession, if you like. So, in other words, those superstitious nonsense, almost like when you got those those chain letter type things. You know, if you don't do this, this will happen. That's the same sort of effect, or same sort of outcome I was expecting if I didn't stick to this, you know, didn't follow my things I had to do before I went to bed. And as my mind got busier and too much to do, the obsession sort of went. Well, I'd still do it occasionally, but it'd be limited to, you know, go back into the kitchen, making sure I turn things off. But then I'd get up in the morning and see the left stuff on, and I wouldn't even think about it. So, you know, it clearly not an OCD anymore if I'm not obsessive about anything, is it? So, but the reason I'm sort of saying this is for anyone who's got a fear. You know, it lasted for about 3 or 4 years really. But for anyone who's got a fear, or that if they don't complete their, you know, I don't know, because I can only compare my own, but if they don't carry out these routines before they, or whatever, I know some people have to wash their hands 20 times and things like that, but obviously for me that was 5 years ago. Well, I don't know, it wasn't 5 years, 3 years ago. I don't do it now. I'm okay, life's good. Touch wood, it's plastic, but